Okay, hello, good night to everybody. Hello, Miss Gracia and students. My name is Juan Pablo Rios, and today we're gonna talk about the artificial insemination. Here in the computer is is Orlando Carbajal, that is the veterinary that is in charge of the program of artificial insemination in all of our farms. He have been working with the family more than 10 years, and he has been the veterinary of all of the farms that the family have and all of the productions. Okay, Orlando, I want that you take that you present to the people and talk a little about your titles and all that.
Okay, thank you, Juan Pablo. My name is Oscar Carbajal. I'm in Colombia right now, and hi to everyone. I have been the veterinarian for Juan Pablo's family for more than 10 years, working in their cattle farms and doing many programs. One of them is the artificial insemination program, which we are going to talk about today. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna make you some questions that I hope that you can answer with the most exactitude and professionality. Okay, I know that the artificial insemination is not a new technique, but I think that is functional. That is why in this investigation I want to know what are the conditions that I need in my cattle farm to implement an artificial insemination system.
Okay, in a cattle farm for an artificial insemination program to work in an efficient and correct way, you need to have the following conditions. First, could be the administrative factor, and then we have the infrastructure factor, also animal factor and human factor. I'm going to talk a little bit about each one of them. The administrative factor, you should have a proper computer program where you're going to store in a proper and timely way the information that said program is going to generate. In the infrastructure factor, you should have at least the minimum physical installations for the correct and safe execution of the program for the personnel and the animal as follows. Pens with enough illumination, cattle crush, safe enough for the animal and the operator, and the pasturage lots for the animals in the program should be close to the pens with fast and easy access. Proper equipment inherent to the program, such as nitrogen thermos with thermometer. The thermos should be between 18 and 20 liters to work for the storage of the selected semen to be used in the program. Universal insemination guns, plastic tweezers, straw cutters, paper towels, plastic sheets, sanitary plastic covers for the gun, and palpation gloves. In the animal factor, we have the selected animals for the program should be healthy, empty, and ovulating. You also need to have a teasing ball properly fixed surgically to identify the cows in heat, and an ink marker should be used also as a tool. More sophisticated, it could be a camera that can help to identify the real heat. In the human factor, you need a professional to design, run, supervise, and evaluate the program from time to time with prepared personnel. In the prepared personnel, we should use an inseminator, which is a technician, to develop the program under the parameters set by the professional.
Okay, thanks, Oscar. I know that to make a good process with the appropriate materials is very important, And it's for this reason that I want you to tell me what things I have to keep in mind, or what are the principal things to do when I'm making an insemination process.
Okay, for this I'm going to extend myself a little bit. I'm going to explain the whole process so you can have a real view of everything. It is important to have in mind that in every insemination program, the key to success is to follow these steps. Detection of the heat as a determining factor for the insemination moment is a prime requirement for the good development of the practice. The best moment for the insemination is from the first half to the end of the stress. The racial component of the animal to be inseminated should be taken into account. It could be taurus or indicus, as the cattle with more indicus component tend to have shorter stress cycles of about 12 hours, and cattle with taurus component tend to have longer stress cycles, which is about 18 hours. Also, the environment where the animal is could be hot or cold climates are also determinants, because in colder climates, the straws tend to be shorter than subtropical climates. After you determine the exact moment to perform the artificial insemination, you should follow these steps. First, you have to immobilize the animal in a proper and safe way. Then, you have to fix the animal tail and clean the perineal area. Then you have to check the records to identify the semen to be used on the cow being inseminated and localize it inside the thermos. You have to have thawing thermos ready with water at the adequate temperature, which is between 35 to 37 degrees centigrade, where the straw should be submerged after being removed from the storage thermos with the plastic tweezers for about 1 minute. We use the plastic tweezers to avoid any burning of the fingers, so I have to tell you and remind that you have to use the plastic tweezers. While the straw is in the thawing thermos, the insemination gun should be prepared according with the straw size. Remove the plunger from the gun, allow the straw to be placed inside, and avoid any spilling of the semen. When thawing time is up, the straw should be removed from the thawing thermos and dried with an absorbent paper or towel and covered to protect it from the UV rays of the sun. Also, the bubble should be displaced to the top, where the straw is going to be cut, which is the opposite side of the cut tip. This practice keeps the semen from contamination at the current moment. The process of cutting the straw should be done while the straw is in or out the gun. After the straw is mounted in the gun, you proceed to mount the sheet and secure it with a sheet locker. Then you have to introduce the gun inside the plastic sanitary cover. The inseminator, after all having done with these previous steps ready, should proceed to wear the palpation glove to introduce the gun at about 30-degree angle approximately, opening the outer labia of the vagina to allow the straw to enter the reproductive tract and guarantee its way to the bottom of the vagina. Before this, the operator should introduce his hand into the rectum to localize the cervix and the uterus. With the fingers, feel the tip of the straw and make sure that goes all the way through the cervix. When he feels the tip of the straw just to the other side of the cervix, then it is the appropriate time to deposit the semen in a slow and paused manner, drop by drop, to allow the spermatozoids to distribute on the two horns to guarantee the fertilization of the egg, independently if it is the right or the left ovary. After finishing of the process, the inseminator should write down all the required information should search at the animal ID, breed, kind of semen used, time and date of service. It is necessary to mention that in some ranches the use of sanitary cover is needed because of the presence of bulk vaginitis. This plastic cover should be in place and unbroken until the moment when it is ready to go to the cervix. Then it should be broken to allow the passage free of contamination.
Okay, thanks Orlando. I know that all these investments that involve the use of this new technology have to be recovered. I want to know how much time do I need to recover my investments in the condition of Zamorano, taking in mind that the first 4 months is very rainy, then until August is very dry, and at the beginnings of October it starts to rain, but it's not so hard the rain. And also I want to tell you that it's not only for production, it's also for the learning of the students.
Well, about this, I think that artificial insemination gives you a very big advantage because you can plan when to inseminate and look forward and see when the cows are going to have their newborns. So the time to recover the investment depends on what I plan to do with the product of insemination, which is the cows, and if the farm wants to use the offsprings for reposition of livestock or sell them after winning. If I want to sell them after winning, then it should not take more than 18 months, depending on winning times, early or late. Also need to take in consideration that the investment for insemination program will be recovered in different ways, meaning cows, improvement of the genetic strain, better rate of pregnancy, program pregnancies, etc. As for impact in schools such as Zamorano, the program should provide rewards in education, practice, and infinite knowledge for the students, thus improving the curriculum of the school. As of this moment, the school has most of the physical installations, I imagine, to implement a program like this, and the extra cost should not amount to a high investment.
Okay, Orlando, thanks. All the people is a concept to adopt a new technology if they can see results traduced to income. So when I will see the results of using a good plan of artificial insemination.
Well, the cattle ranch will see results immediately. For example, you will need less balls, which means less investment, because good balls tend to be very expensive, and also you're going to be very limited to have only one ball. Then you will need less balls. The introduction of ribs by their capacity to adapt to climate is not possible where the program is. The diversity of bulls tried that I can introduce in my program will be with the same breed. Control of diseases implied by natural methods, permanent evaluation of the program, count inseminations, pregnancy rates, efficiency in heat detection, etc.
Oh, okay, thanks. I have another question. I can say that I'm having a good results only by seeing the genotype of my cattle or observing the earning, but how I do measure objectively my result related to improving productivity.
Okay, starting from the base, the all bulls selected from the insemination program are going to improve the productive parameters of the cattle ranch. The results will be measured at the moment when the animal's product of this practice begin to demonstrate the potential for which they were conceived. Will it be beef or dairy, for example? Cows, beef, cattle breed will begin to demonstrate the better gain in grams per day compared with what the ranch had before, seeing results in shorter terms of finishing. cattle for dairy purposes will have better lactations, compared with their progenitors. In the case of a strategic crossbreed looking for hybrid vigor, you will have animals with more fertility and will be more productive.
Okay, when I establish my artificial insemination system, I need someone with the experience to do this activity, or is necessary to have a veterinary or agronomy to do this?
No, it is not necessary. The profession is necessary for the design, implementation, personal training, and periodic evaluation of the program. The professional as such will be in charge of the trained personnel who will be following the lineups set up for the development of the program.
Okay, because of the nature of artificial insemination, we have to introduce our hand in the animal. The question is, what I have to do to avoid the danger of the animal? What is the appropriate technique to do this?
Well, as mentioned before, the security of the stock cattle depends on the infrastructure, which must have an appropriate design for such activity to guarantee the displacement of the animal in a proper and safe way. It is important to emphasize that the pasturage lots should be close to the insemination pens to guarantee a quick and safe movement performed by trained personnel. Have a good illumination and a good cattle crush to keep the animal still and relaxed during the insemination procedure. It should be stressed that the animal should be kept safe and relaxed during the process and should not generate any stress situation that would bring the cow to release cortisol and a possible failure in the ovulation process. Also, I have to add here that the technician must be somebody who is well prepared in order not to damage the animal, because, as you said in the question, you have to put your arm inside the rectum of the animal, and then you have to put the gun inside the vagina. And it is very possible that if the person hasn't had any practice at all, may damage the animal and be a very big loss for the farm.
Oh, okay, Orlando, thanks. When the animals copulate in the nature, they can have the probability of past diseases during the copulation, but with this technique, we can control the precedence of the semen. So I want to know, what are the infections that I can prevent by using the artificial insemination?
Well, basically, you have a lot of guarantees here, and you should be able to prevent any or all kinds of infections past there via natural mount or seminal mount. If infection that can be prevented mainly could be bacterial, viral, or protozoa by contact. For example, in the bacteria side we have the leptospirosis and the brucellosis. Viral could be the IBR, the PI3, or the Pluton. In the protozoa, we have the trichomonas.
Okay, Orlando, thanks.
I'm sorry.
Generally, if we want to improve the genetic in the farm, we use the same semen of the same male, or in some cases we have to select the best male. So how is affect the genetic variability of our cattle?
Well, in an insemination program, we will have always the possibility to include genetic variability, which depending on how successful or not the election was made in accordance to the purpose of the cattle ranch, we will generate good or bad results. That's why it is important to have an individual program for each cow to know which genetic variability is needed or wants to be needed. For example, if we try one cow with one name semen and it doesn't result, then we can immediately change and buy different kind of semen to try in our farm to see which one is better.
Okay. Orlando, thanks. The interview is finished. And thank you very much.